Hello and welcome to Devil's Advocate. The left has claimed credit for proposing Pratibha Patil as a candidate for the presidency of India. So how do they respond to the serious allegations she faces? That's the issue I should raise with the General Secretary of the Communist Party of India, A.V. Bardhan. Mr. Bardhan, when Pratibha Patil was first suggested as the UPA left candidate for the presidency, you said, I was one of those who jumped on it because it was a very good name. Today, after the spate of newspaper stories questioning her integrity and her beliefs, do you think you've chosen the wrong person for the presidency?
I thought, you see, you will not fall for all the lies manufactured by the BJP's, you see, dirty trick factory.
All right, you call them lies. Let's try and explore some of them in detail. Let's begin with the Pratibha Mahila Sahakari Bank. She was its chairperson, she later has been its director, and even when she hasn't held those posts, she's been the critical person running the bank. In 2003, when the Reserve Bank of India closed the bank, it commented, allowing the bank to carry on banking business would be detrimental to the interest of the present and future shareholders, and hence its license is hereby cancelled. Should a woman who virtually presided over a failed bank be the next president of India?
Well, so many institutions failed. That's quite another question. But she was the chairperson only for a certain period.
I'm afraid I have to quarrel with you.
She wasn't.
I'm afraid I have to correct you.
Facts have been proved before
No,
that.
you're talking about facts. Let me draw your attention to board resolution number 23 of the Pratibha Mahila Sahakari Bank, passed on the 22nd of January 2002. It authorized Pratibha Patil to appoint the board of directors and the chief executive. So even when she wasn't chairperson, she was the person running the bank.
As the promoter. As the promoter and one of the most important persons there.
Regardless of what capacity she was running the bank, when it fails, she takes responsibility for the failure.
I think you see that the full answer has been given. The documents have shown that she was the chairperson only for a certain period. But then I am saying, you see, that if there is any responsibility that accrues to her, the Reserve Bank is there to take note of it.
In fact, it's not just the Reserve Bank. I'm afraid Pratibha Patil stands accused in front of the Aurangabad bench of the Bombay High Court, and she is charged with mismanagement of the bank and misappropriation of funds. Should a woman so accused in a high court be the next president of India?
When and how? And who has challenged her? All types of litigations can now come in.
But the case has been admitted by the court. She is respondent number 8.
When? When was this case filed?
It was filed a couple of years ago.
And why is she, you see, respondent number 8?
Because
she was the chairperson.
Because for the simple reason all the other members of the board take precedence over her. But as I quoted to you, on January the 22nd, 2002, by board resolution number 23, she was authorized to appoint the directors and the chief executive. She is the person running the bank.
I think we can go on to the next question, you see, because it so happens, you see, that so many banks fail, so many cooperative societies fail, you see. It only shows that she was not a very great, you see, executive director in all these economic affairs.
A woman who presides over a failed bank is the right choice for President of India? That's a bizarre decision.
You see, a person who was charged with Hawala transaction, a person who was, you see, guilty of destroying a masjid, you see, whose case, you see, was there in a court, who was dragged to the court, wanted to be a would-be Prime Minister of this country.
So you've chosen Pratibha Patil. So you've chosen Pratibha Patil with L.K. Advani in mind?
No,
is that the level to which you're justifying your choice?
And it is he.
She's not an ideal choice. She's only the comparison of L.K. Advani.
I am saying
you seem to be losing this argument.
It is only he and his party, you see, who are leveling all these charges. You see, it is the fascistic trick. They throw sufficient mud at a person. Some of it
I'm
might
afraid
stick.
it's not mud. Let's look a little bit more carefully at the charges. The Pratibha Mahila Sahakar Bank was set up as a cooperative to help empower poor women. At the very top of the list of defaulters are in fact her brothers, her sisters-in-law, her nephews and her nieces. A sum of 2.25 crore was loaned to family members and is now officially non-performing assets. A further sum, it's alleged, of 41 lakhs has been waived as interest to her family members. I put it to you, isn't this corruption and nepotism?
This is neither corruption nor is it nepotism.
What is it then?
You see, in a cooperative bank, if members of the family are also there, what is so surprising about it?
A cooperative bank that is meant to empower women has loans being given to her brothers, to her nephews.
Some of them have paid back, by the way, as far as I know. But then I do.
I'm afraid you're talking about the interest waivers that have been perhaps questioned by the Congress party. I can show you a list published by the Reserve Bank of India, which lists Dilip Patil, her brother, Kishore Dalip Singh Patil, her nephew, Randhir Singh Dalip Singh Rajput, her nephew, Rajeshwari Kishore Singh Patil, her niece, Uddhav Singh Dagdu Rajput, her brother's kin. The total number of loans amounts to 2 crore 25. These have been defaulted on. They are non-performing assets officially recorded as such.
Who else but we, you see, have exposed all the non-performing assets that have been there.
But then today you're giving her a strange promotion to presidency.
Let me tell you, all those people you see who are guilty of that are now holding high posts. And not only, you see, from our side, or not only from the Congress side.
You're not answering my question. You're justifying her on the grounds of the low standards of other politicians. That's a strange argument.
I'm only saying that I have never justified her, you see, as a very great economic expert or as an executive.
What about as a woman of integrity? That's what's being questioned here.
Who has questioned her integrity?
Her union. Let me quote to you. I want to quote from the...
It is a BMS union, sir. I know that union very well.
I'm afraid it is a union regardless of what sort of polemic you use to brand it with. The Pratibha Mahila Sahkari Karmachari Sangh Union has said in a memo to the management dated the 3rd of December 2001, and I quote, Founder Chairperson Pratibha Patil has facilitated the loot of large sums of money in the form of unlawful loans without surety extended to her own relatives and to people close to her. As a former General Secretary of the All India Trade Union Congress, are you disregarding the opinion of fellow union leaders?
I know this union. It is a BMS union.
So
it
what?
is a union led by the BJP.
So
and
what?
It is the starting point, you see, of all these slanders against
It was
her.
a union that was the official union of a bank headed by a congresswoman, founded, as you say, by a congresswoman, recognized by that woman and her management. It is the legitimate voice of the depositors in this instance.
You see, you will have to refer it to the All India Bank Employees Association.
All right?
Which is the major union of bank employees in this country.
That's a very interesting quibble that you're coming up with. I don't think it sits well in the mouth of a former General Secretary of the All India Trade Union Congress, but it's your prerogative. Let me draw your attention to some of the other charges made against her, not just by the union this time, but endorsed by the liquidator appointed by the Reserve Bank. It's alleged that Pratibha Patil's brother, Dalip Singh Patil, has acquired in his home a bank phone used for his personal stock market transactions, and he ran up a bill of 20 lakhs. It's alleged that unsecure and therefore unlawful loans were given to her sugar factory, which later had to default. It's alleged that her relatives were given jobs in the bank in disregard of scheduled caste and scheduled tribe reservations.
You will have to prove that all she did was for her brother, and that she is responsible for what her brother did. After all, she is not her brother's keeper. If her brother, you see, is guilty of any crimes, he should be prosecuted. The law should take its course.
Mr. Bardhan, pause for a moment. She is effectively the lady who ran the bank even when she wasn't chairperson. The board resolution I've quoted proved that. If her brother, her nephews and her nieces become beneficiaries and then defaulters, is it happening without her knowledge?
Anyway,
that is too much of a coincidence to be possible.
I wish that in future, all those who are at the head of banks, at the head of other institutions, you see, economic institutions, will see to it that none of their kin get employed.
Let me put it a little differently like this. The money in the Pratibha Mahila Sahkari Bank was the deposit of poor women. It was their hard-earned earnings for a rainy day. Who took the loans and ran away with the money? Her brothers, her nephews, her nieces. Can you as a communist support that a woman of this background becomes president?
I do not support any non-performing assets. I do not support any loans taken
then why don't you
way.
reconsider her nomination?
But you see, what has it got to do with her, I want to know.
Because she was the person running the bank in effect.
Look here, if she had anything to do with this, by now, you see, so many criminal cases would have been filed against her.
But there is a case filed against her in the Aurangabad bench of the Bombay High Court. She's respondent number 8. She's accused of mismanagement of the bank and misappropriation of funds.
They served as a notice?
The case has been pending in court for the last 2 years. Let me quote to you Vijay Kumar Kakade, the former president of the Employees Union. He says, Pratibha Patil was responsible for this. We want to tell our countrymen that such a person is going to occupy the highest office.
This, of course, is one of the latest statements by one BJP fellow.
This is not a BJP fellow. This is Vijay Kumar Kakade, president of the Pratibha Mahila Sahkari Bank Karmachari Sangh.
Which, as I said, is a BJP unit.
So, does that make such a big difference?
It makes.
He is the officially recognized union.
They are out to malign, you say, a candidate. They are out to malign a presidential candidate.
But these statements were made much earlier. Let me quote a letter written by the president of the bank, the vice president and the secretary, all three top officials, on the 13th of March 2002. at least 5 years before her nomination, even before she became governor of Rajasthan. This is what they write in a letter to Pratibha Patil. There is a threat to our lives and to the lives of our family members from you. You have already communicated this to us in our meeting with you. If something happens to us, accidentally or otherwise, you will be responsible. Can you, as a former General Secretary of the AITUC, support as President a woman who threatens allegedly trade union leaders?
What are you trying to say, Karan? I know of people you see who go on threatening. I know people you see who conspire.
But you make them President of India. Here you are doing just that.
This simple woman, you see, who has not been charged,
giving loans to her brothers that are defaulted, to her nephews and nieces.
Of any crime,
she's
faces never been dragged to a
court in the Bombay High Court. What do you mean dragged to a court? She's there already.
Who is there in already? As I might be there, you see, in a court. As the 20th, you see.
If tomorrow she should be elected, the High Court finds her guilty, how embarrassed will you be?
Let us see.
Let us see. You're prepared to take the risk.
Let us see.
I put it to you, Mr.
You never, those you see who are levying all these charges, you see, never blinked an eye, you see, when one would-be Prime Minister was charged and been tried in the court.
Mr. Bardhan, these charges are levied by P.B. Mathur, Executive Director of the Reserve Bank of India, in a report on the 25th of February 2003 when he closed down the bank. He is the one who says that it's been mismanaged. It's his liquidator that's identified the non-performing assets and connected them to her family members.
But to her family members, how does it, you see, indict her?
Is it a coincidence that while she ran the bank, her family members got loans and then defaulted?
Thing. You see, my brother commits something, some crime, and I'm responsible for it.
But it's a different matter if you happen to be heading the bank at the time when the brother gets loans, or if you're effectively running the bank. That's what I'm pointing out.
She was the head only for some time.
I quoted the resolution which shows that she's appointing board of directors.
It's not very correct.
How do you know it's not correct?
Facts have been put on the record by one of the, by Priyaranjan Das Munshi, showing that she was...
I'm afraid those are partial facts. They're probably questionable facts.
Oh,
I'm quoting you facts put on record by the RBI.
You doubt those facts? You only pick on some facts, so you are a pick and choose man.
Let me put it like this. Regardless of the facts which you pick on and I pick on, what she stands accused of is a heinous set of imputations on her integrity, on her sincerity, on her character. Should she not at least come forward and defend herself?
Who?
Pratibha Patil.
I am quite sure she'll defend herself.
She hasn't as yet.
I am quite sure she'll defend herself.
But she hasn't as yet.
But why should she?
So?
Just because somebody levies a charge,
because her integrity is being impugned.
She will reply?
When?
After the nomination is over?
Why after? Why not before?
Why before?
Because
she is at the moment
the advantage of doing it afterwards, it's too late to withdraw. In other words, you want it to become a fait accompli before she's unable to defend herself.
Somebody levies a charge, somebody raises a howl, somebody reduces it, you see, to a most degrading episode, and then you want her to withdraw for that.
All right?
Let somebody else withdraw, you see, who stands as an independent candidate.
Let's take a break. You refuse to accept the seriousness of the charges or the fact that she owes a responsibility not to the country but to herself.
I take no responsibility for whatever she might have done or her family might have done.
I'm only nominate her to president.
I'm only responsible, you see, for supporting her candidate.
And I'm pointing out that you're supporting someone knowing that she faces hideous, serious charges.
I'm telling you that no such charges were levied when she was a minister, when she was an MLA, when she was deputy chairperson.
That doesn't mean to say that they're not true charges.
When she was a governor of Rajasthan.
So what? And they've been provoked by the nomination to president. That doesn't mean to say they're invalid.
During all that period, you see, at the center was the BJP rule. They did nothing.
All right, let's take a break. Let's come back and let's talk about Pratibha Patil's beliefs. Let me ask you, how embarrassed are you by her beliefs? We'll be back in a moment's time. See you after the break. Welcome back to Devil's Advocate and an interview with the General Secretary of the Communist Party of India, A.P. Bardhan. Mr. Bardhan, let's come to Pratibha Patil's beliefs. Speaking in the Maharashtra Assembly as Health Minister on the 10th of December 1975, Mrs. Patil said, "We are thinking of forcible sterilization of people with hereditary diseases." First of all, do you approve of forcible sterilization?
I don't.
You don't?
But that doesn't mean that I agree with everything she says or does.
Let's explore this a little further. People with hereditary diseases include people with heart disorders, with infertility, with diabetes, even people with bad eyesight and bad hearing. You may laugh, but that is true.
I'm laughing because
you
are trying to trivialize. You are trying to trivialize the whole issue.
A principle is actually judged at the extremities, and you know that better than I do. Should such people be forcibly sterilized?
I don't think there should be forcible sterilization at any stage.
So you completely disagree with her?
I disagree with this whole policy of the Congress at one stage.
Well, maybe. Then how come such a woman who said this in the Assembly, it is recorded in the Assembly's records, is your nominee for president?
She's not going to forcibly sterilize anybody.
But she stood for it. She's never recanted. She hasn't apologized.
Let me tell you, you see, we are electing a president within the framework of our Indian constitution.
But she still has views and beliefs.
She has views and beliefs.
And she's not recanted. She hasn't apologized.
I'm not called upon, you see, to support her views and beliefs.
Should she, to clear the air, recant and apologize for this?
Why should she?
So she stands by it and you're happy to promote her?
I'm saying many wrong things, mistaken things have been said and done by Congress, and more so by the BJP, which have actually resorted to, you see, genocide in their
this is not just a wrong thing. When she calls for forcible sterilization, many people believe that Pratibha Patil is in fact echoing Hitler's 1933 law for the prevention of hereditary diseased offspring. And
I admire the way in which you have tried to connect her with Hitler.
I'm not connecting her.
If there is anything to be connected with Hitler,
what
it is that life factory of the BJP.
You know, I'm afraid, Mr. Bardhan, come back to the point. Hitler stood for a law which he passed in 33 for the prevention of hereditary diseased offspring. As you know, that was central to his plan for a master race. Today, Pratibha Patil's views sound uncannily similar. Should she not at least recant?
All these policies have been given the go-by. You remember there was a sterilization policy.
So what are you saying? You're prepared to forget and forgive even though she may stand by it?
No. You see, I don't know whether she'll stand by it. There was a sterilization policy.
That's why I'm asking you. If you don't know whether she stands by it, shouldn't she publicly say she's recanted?
Anyway, it is not the president who will lay down the policy.
Maybe, but this is the president who has these views. She is the symbol of India. As president, she is the symbol of India.
Many people in this country, from the BJP, from the Congress and from many other parties, believe in God-man, God-woman and God knows what else.
I'll come to that. So does Pratibha Patil. But the point is, you're not choosing many people such as that to be president. You have chosen Pratibha Patil. Are you embarrassed by her views on forced sterilization?
I do not agree with that view. That's all.
So then, don't you think she should clear the air and apologize or at least recant?
Everything that has been said in the past.
Why not?
You see, there was a policy followed by forcible sterilization even in the emergency
Maybe,
days.
but should she not clear the air before she becomes president in 2007?
Why? Because she is not going to follow those policies and she is not called upon.
All right, you say she won't follow those policies. Let me in
fact... She is not called upon to lay down the policy.
Let me call your attention to something that she declared on the 17th of June. She's made it clear that she believes in divine spirits. On the 17th of June, she said that she'd had a conversation with a man who died in 1969 because the man had manifested himself in the body of a woman. You're laughing because it's so hilarious.
I'm laughing because...
Do you acknowledge that such a woman should be president?
Most of your leaders, BJP and Congress, believe in God-men, believe in spirits.
But you're not promoting most of them to be president. You are promoting her.
No, I am not called upon, you see, to follow all that.
Okay, let me put it like this.
Accept all that.
Let me put it like this. Do you think Pratibha Patil has the rational, forward-looking, liberal temperament that a president needs?
Where have you laid down the condition?
So you can have an orthodox, reactionary, backward-looking person.
No. In matters of political policies, you see, it's another thing.
What about matters of pronouncements in the public? She's going to make lots of speeches. If she starts making speeches, talking about speaking to men who are dead 40 years ago, you'd be happy for your president to do that?
I am quite sure it will not be done.
How do you know? She did it just now.
I am quite sure that when she becomes the president, she won't do it.
How do you know? What certainty do you have? You're going to put a gag on her?
I know that as a president, you see, she will have to follow the policies laid down by the government.
Let me put it like this.
We have a parliamentary democracy.
This is not policy.
Not a presidential system.
Let me put it like this. They say Caesar's wife should be above suspicion. Doesn't that apply to the president of India?
The president of India is a constitutional head.
And so it can be suspected?
No. And a constitutional head is not called upon you to lay down policy.
The constitutional head is the symbol of the country. Should the symbol of the country be under suspicion?
The constitutional head will be the symbol of the country and its policies will be laid down with the government.
The one thing the Communist Party has is moral authority. No longer do you have political influence. I put it to you, why are you squandering your moral authority supporting a woman who's not fit for the top job? Why don't you admit you made a mistake nominating her?
Our moral authority is demonstrated in the fact, you see, that we insisted that no communal person or belonging to a communal party, to the RSS...
So you can have a potentially corrupt person instead. You can have a woman who stands for forcible sterilization instead. You can have an orthodox woman who believes in spirits instead.
I don't know what you are picking upon. She has, you see, more than 40 years of political career.
All right, Mr. Bardhan. You can have the last word. A pleasure talking to you on Devil's Advocate.